This is the Amazon 1-month overview reading for September 2022. It's currently September 6th, 2022, 5:02 p.m. The overall theme and behavior for Amazon throughout the month of September is a steep decline through multiple key support levels on a multi-day chart. Looks like that's crossed with a rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance, meeting a secondary resistance, and pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. And it looks like that big move to the upside along the diagonal trend line ends. It takes place towards the end of the month, like the last week of the month, and that's after a low in the third week. So that'd have to be a pretty big move, and it does look like we could have a pretty big move there based on everything that I'm seeing transpire in front of me. The behavior around the month's high, key resistance level on a multi-day chart, volume will peter out. There'll be like a lull in volume around the month's high. Behavior out of the month's low, there's going to be, okay, so we'll have into the low, we're going to have a decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down, and that's crossed with big move higher out of the month's low. So it forms when we have decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down, and then there's a big move out of the low to reach for distant resistance level, which is another thing pointing towards a big decline at the end of the month, or a big move to the upside at the end of the month. All right, guys. So on the first, we have a fast sudden move higher. This may look like a month's high for most of the month. Either on the first or the second, likely on the first, but it's not a month's high necessarily. There's a fast sudden move to the upside, one local high and one local low on a one-day chart of the first that'll stand out. The one high that'll stand out, it forms when we have a big move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of the range, starting out of a decline, and then the behavior into the one low, notable decline on a one-day chart, it'll stand out. On the second, a key support level on a multi-day chart is highlighted, and it looks like we have a swing trade opportunity involving a notable decline on a one-day chart. Looks like there's some rallying there as well. On the second, there's a rally along diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance, meeting secondary resistance, and then pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. Fifth, we have off. The sixth, a period of volatility with a sudden dip in the midst of that'll stand out on a one-day chart. The dip will likely stand out on a multi-day chart, and looks like we have two local lows and one local high up for a chart on the 6th. The local high forms when we have a big move higher. It'll stand out on a one-day chart. Both lows form in the midst of a notable decline. It looks like we have a decline to meet a low, and then the second low is met. Like we meet probably the same price level after some movement to the upside. We have another drop to revisit that low towards the end of the day. Looks like there's a swing trade opportunity there as well. So I'm likely to close out of a position opened on the 2nd. On the 7th, we have sideways fluctations with a bullish trend that precedes a decline, and that's on the scale of sideways fluctuations on the scale of a multi-day chart. It'd stand out. One local high, and that forms around around a dip, a U-shaped dip between two perpendicular diagonal trend lines. On the 8th, we have a bit of a rally along a diagonal trend line, break through horizontal resistance, and at that horizontal resistance, we do like a crisscross three times through that price level, confirming a bullish trend, but that bullish trend doesn't hold. Looks like on the 9th, we have a sharp decline. We have a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a multi-day chart, followed by a sharp decline through a key support level, at least on a one-day chart, but likely on a multi-day chart. And it looks like the two local lows that we see on a chart for the 9th One forms after meeting key resistance on a one-day chart. We fall with quite a bit of volatility into a local low. And then another local low. Matter of fact, both local lows offer an opportunity to position oneself in both directions using straddles or strangles. So definitely some volatility coming into play. Although I must say, guys, it's Mercury retrograde as of the 9th. I highly recommend pausing on trading. In other words, don't trade during Mercury retrograde. You're just asking for it. On the 12th, looks like we have a notable trough and a notable crest on the 12th. Matter of fact, we may have a month's okay, so we have a notable trough and a notable crest on the 12th. Looks like towards the end of the day something happens with domestic unrest, and it's significant enough to be on the chart. It looks like at the end of the day or early on the 13th. But there's a notable drop from, looks like a high early in the day. On the 13th, we have a sideways S formation, so two declines with an incline in between. They're usually about the same distance apart, or the same distance of price movement. So two declines with an incline in between. And there's one local high that forms, looks like a rally that forms on a multi-day chart. It forms early morning on the 13th. Oh, excuse me. It looks like we actually break through another support level between the afternoon of the 12th to somewhere through the 13th. There's a support level that's highlighted we break through, and that's on a multi-day chart. On the 14th, we have a rally that ends with a fast sudden move to the upside. A rally along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast move to the upside, followed by a breakdown through that diagonal trend line and increasing volatility on the way down. There's one local high, one local low, and a swing trade opportunity. The local high involves a big move out of a decline all the way from the bottom of a range to the top of a range on a one-day chart. And then the one local low, it forms with a notable drop on a one-day chart. It'll stand out. Also, there's a big move to the upside to push the upper end of a range on a one-day chart involved in the swing trade opportunity. So likely to open up a swing trade on the 14th. All right, on the 15th, we have a move higher through a resistance level on a multi-day chart, followed by a decline back down through that same price level. Shortly thereafter, there's one local high. It forms near the intersection of perpendicular diagonal trend lines. On the 16th, we attempt to establish support. Looks like we have another notable trough here on the 16th as well. Two local lows. Both lows offer an opportunity to position oneself in both directions using straddle or strangle. It looks like we have a rally that commences at the very end of the day, or maybe we have a big move to the upside over the weekend. When we gap up on the 19th, it may actually have something to do with like a speech of some sort that comes out towards the morning hours. And we have another support level on a multi-day chart that's highlighted on the 19th. It looks like we break down through that again. So that's another one of the support levels on a multi-day chart that we break down during this ruin decline, because it correlates to the theme card. And then we would also see a rally in there along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance, meeting another resistance, and then pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. And it looks like in the midst of that bit of a rally, there's a swing trade opportunity involving a sharp decline through multiple support levels on a one-day chart. It looks like I'd want to buy protection towards the end of the day, like maybe the early afternoon on the 19th, and cash out of a trade around a support level on the 19th. Another swing trade opportunity on the 20th in the midst of some erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. And it looks like the swing trade opportunity involves a move on a one-day chart to push the upper end of a range higher. And there's the revisiting of a crest that was recently a past opportunity. One local low on the 20th. It forms in the midst of a sharp decline that'll stand out on a one-day chart. On the 21st, we have a big move to the upside. We successfully turn resistance into support. That's on a multi-day chart. There's one swing trade opportunity involving a decline through multiple support levels on a one-day chart. On the 22nd, another big move on a multi-day chart. Looks like we have a decline on the 22nd, notable decline on the 2nd, like significant on a multi-day chart. One local high that forms involving a move higher that'll stand out on a one-day chart, and one local low that forms when we revisit past problems. It looks like we revisit a recent low or recent trough there. And then on the 23rd, we have a strong correlation to a month's low here on the 23rd. So here around like the 20, probably either the 22nd or the 23rd. Let's say that between the 21st and the 23rd month's low, higher probability as we move towards the 23rd. So most likely it's like at the end of the day on the 22nd or in the morning on the 23rd, because we have a big move on a multi-day chart. It'll stand out on the 23rd, big move to the upside, breaking out through a key resistance level. There's one swing trade opportunity on the 23rd that involves a decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down, and those spikes generally they meet moving averages as resistance. On the 26th, we have sideways rotation along a key support level on a multi-day chart. Oh, I left out on the 22nd. It looks like we break through another key support level on a multi-day chart. On the 26th, sideways rotation along key support level on a multi-day chart, increasing with bullish sentiment as we move forward into the day. On the 27th, it looks like that rally turns into a decline. We break down through a support level to meet another support level. This is on at least a one-day chart. To meet another support level, we bounce along sideways along that support level for a bit, and then we break down through multiple support levels. There's one local low that stands out, and it forms in the midst of a sharp decline that'll stand out on a one-day chart. There's one swing trade opportunity involving a move higher on a one-day chart, pushing the upper end of a range higher. On the 28th, we have the completion of a rally, so we should see a bit of a rally, and then it completes for the day at least. On the 29th, out of oversold territory, we have a big push higher. It looks like we have a very strong correlation to a month's high here on the 29th, and again on the 30th. My sense is likely on the 29th, a month's high, a big move higher, either filling a previous gap down and or pushing out of severely oversold territory on RSI. On the 30th, there's a decline off of that high. And that decline offers an opportunity to open up a long position. The swing trade opportunity on the 30th involves a move higher, pushing the upper end of the range higher on a one-day chart. And there's a local high on the 30th involved in a decline that turns into a rally, and that rally moves from the bottom of the range all the way to the top of the range on a one-day chart. Sneak preview for the following month, my friends. Sideways rotation, equal amounts of bulls and bears, inflow and outflow. Sideways rotation along a key support level on a multi-day chart. This sometimes offers a lot of trade opportunity here for swing trades based on the fluctuations back and forth. And that's AMZN throughout the month of September 2022. My friends, sorry I got this out so late. This is the last of the September readings we'll be doing. Everything else moving forward is now for October. But let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And most importantly, my friends, pay a little bit of that profit forward, a little bit of that profit backwards, and make sure that you spend it all on love. As long as you spend it out of love, that's the rule of karma. As long as you spend it out of love, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold in all directions, my friends. I'll see you on the next one.